Welcome to B.O.B TV, I'm KEZIA Dawn. We're down here at the Star Casino, Sydney for the Australian premiere of the 4th phase. We're about to go now to chat to Travis Rice about how he's feeling about the film. So this 4th phase, it's been a long time coming. How are you feeling at this point? Are you feeling relieved?
Yeah, you know, it's, there's a bit of relief. So much has gone into this film. You know, I kind of look at it as like this library book was really overdue. This horse is ready to leave the stable. And so, you know, being here in Australia to do our premiere tonight, it feels good. It feels good. It's ready to go out.
Cool. What does the 4th phase hint at?
The 4th phase hints at, you know, it's rather multi-dimensional, I guess. I think there's kind of a tongue-in-cheek element with the fact that this is our 4th film, but I think the 4th phase really hints at the aspects of there's so much more than meets the eye in this fantastic world that we all share. You know, the film is about water and our relationship with water and the hydrological processes that bring us so much to play on, from, you know, the mountains riding snow to, you know, the oceans riding waves. And it's a look at the energetic cycle that is all, you know, so intertwined that we all, as so many of us, kind of are hydrologists in our own way, and following that lifestyle.
Awesome. What did you take away from it as a snowboarder?
I took away a lot more than I think I thought I was going to in the beginning. You know, we set off on this physical, you know, if you look at a map, this geographical path. We wanted to take a downstream approach at where we traveled and why. Because for so long we've just, you know, we've gone to where the weather's good, regardless of how weather patterns work. And this time we really wanted to go downstream, downwind, down weather, down current. And I think, you know, the film progressed through the many years of us working on it, and inevitably turned into something we didn't expect, I guess, in the beginning. Which you'll have to watch the film to figure out.
I'm looking forward to it. You and your crew, you set a very high bar with the previous films. Did you feel a lot of pressure going into the 4th phase, knowing the level that it had to be at?
Yeah, no doubt. The pressure was there. You know, whatever. It was a setup for us because of the nature of how, I guess, well received the last films were. Although, in, you know, being out and making the movies, it's very much so, you know, you can't let outside influence and pressure surpass your own internal pressure to, you know, to create and to snowboard. I find that's when, you know, that's when attitude changes or bad things happen, is when you're not just operating off your own internal striving to create. So there was pressure, but it very much so came from, you know, all the filmmakers, all the production people involved with the project. I mean, they wanted deep down to, you know, create something a little bit more, just as I wanted the same thing.
Yeah. Going into talking about the people behind it and the production and the crew and everything, can you tell us a bit about the mastermind behind it, how the Bryan crew came together?
Yeah. So the group of people that made this film, even before we started this, it was still kind of a brothers in arms kind of group. The camaraderie is a big reason we're able to make the films we do. Our crew has kind of been piecemealed together over the course of 10 to 12 years, and you know, this film would not be possible if it weren't for, you know, the just dedication and commitment from our film team. You know, they're the ones that often are, you know, getting up earlier than we are and going to bed later, you know, in the night, day in, day out. Yeah, I mean, they're the unsung heroes behind the film. And for me, that's what a lot of these premieres give credit to, being able to see them in a theatrical setting. And the beauty too is that being in here in Australia, there's actually a theatrical premiere release, I think September 15th, for a bit of time through, I'm told, Event Cinemas and Village Cinemas. It's actually being shown in theaters in 4K. It's the way we shot it, the way we wanted to showcase it. So I think it does everyone's work justice. That's how you see it.
Yeah. Ultimately, from the fourth phase, you're talking about the message about the water, and obviously being in Sydney, being able to showcase it the way you want it to. What is the message you want the audience to get from the movie?
I think ultimately, just being inspired to get outside, inspired to go on a mission with close friends, and I feel life becomes so simple and makes so much sense when you're out enjoying itself. I mean, it's here to be enjoyed, and we go into it in the film about how, just take the title itself, the fourth phase, which I didn't quite go all the way into it earlier. I went and asked for a blessing from a biophysicist by the name of Gerald Pollack to actually utilize the fourth phase name after a book he wrote called The Fourth Phase of Water, which he goes into the fact that there is a fourth state of water. I mean, we all know that there's vapor, liquid, and ice, but for hundreds of years there's been this quagmire in science. There's these anomalies in water that nobody can actually explain. And so he's finally broken down what that in fact is. And so the film, on the macro level, take a look at global weather and climate and the interconnectedness of it all. But at the microscopic level as well, there's so much that we don't know. And letting go of our rigid facts. I know these things makes room for incredible things.
Yeah, cool. It's a cool message.
Thanks.
Going to your snowboarding, who would you say is your ultimate favorite snowboarder?
It changes on the daily, I swear, because when I was young, an impressionable snowboard fan, I was always kind of rooting for our hometown heroes, so guys by the name of like Lance Pittman, Brody Dow, and especially Bryan Iguchi. Bryan Iguchi was, call him a bit of a mentor for me, and actually ended up kind of planting the seed for the idea of the fourth phase and what this movie is. And being able to 15, 16 years later actually attempt to make a film about this idea about living the life of a hydrologist, and a poem that he had written so long ago, which at the end of the poem states, this process we follow, this cycle we ride. So being able to work that in feels good. I'm proud about the message.
Is there any tricks that you haven't landed that you would like to land?
A plethora of tricks. So many tricks that I've done quite well, actually, in my head that I have yet to put to paper.
Can you name one? What's something that you're probably working on to do right now?
For me, I think a lot of it has to do with the application and where. So I've always been really into putting freestyle tricks into the backcountry and doing, say, like double cork tricks in freestyle into big mountain riding. And for me, that's always been the kind of ultimate where I want to bring my snowboarding. Freestyle in the backcountry. That's why many years ago I did a contest called the Supernatural, which we ran it for 2 years. And actually, now that I finished making this film, I'm going to be putting a lot of my time and effort into the future into bringing this contest, which I believe will be the highest echelon of competitive snowboarding in the future, bringing it back to life.
Yeah, I was going to ask, will we ever see you throwing down some quad corks in the backcountry?
There's a quad cork in the film if you add 2 hits together. No, there's no quad corks in our film. It's insane what the next generation is doing. I'm actually really happy that I'm not competing against the youth anymore, because they've taken it to such a crazy level. And I think, to one of your earlier questions, snowboarders that I look up to, for quite some time, you know, I look down for motivation and inspiration. It's the next generation and what they're able to do that I'm looking at as my kind of inspiration in snowboarding.
Yeah, cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the safety precautions you take as a snowboarder, and the checks you do?
Sure. You know, safety is a big part of it. We like to use the safety protocol. It's called safety triangle, which is safety first, last, and always. Look, safety's no joke. It's a big part of our operation. And you know, when you watch our films and you see us just, you know, riding down these mountains, it seems like, you know, we're kind of just throw caution to the wind and just, you know, charge. But there's a lot of processes we have in place to make what we do sustainable. Because at the end of the day, first and foremost, our goal is everyone that goes into the field comes out. And that's probably one of the most, I think, proud elements of this film for me is that, you know, for everything that we've done over the course of 4 years, you know, we're all still here. Everyone's still healthy, and there's no way that would not have happened had we not put safety at the forefront of what we do. I mean, it's real, the dangers that lie in the backcountry. But if you pay attention and you give the mountains the respect they deserve, you can do it sustainably. Yeah.
Back to the film, how do you think this film has raised the bar for the future of snowboarding films?
That's a good question. Look, I can't talk about future snowboard films, but all I can say is for us, we wanted to tell a story that was a little bit more honest. I mean, this was the most personal film that I've definitely ever worked on. And we kind of in the beginning set out striving for a more honest narrative, telling a little bit deeper story of what we go through doing this. Yeah, a more exposed kind of documentation of what we've been through the last 3 years.
Cool. Last question, will we ever see you competing on the Freeride World Tour?
It's a great question. I would love to go compete on the Freeride World Tour. I see, you know, every now and then you see one of their events where conditions look pretty decent, look good. I'm a fan. I watched the Freeride World Tour, and it just hasn't been in the cards for me in the future. I actually have done 2 events in the past, and yeah, maybe this winter. I don't know.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Lovely chatting to you.
Likewise.
The 4th phase will be in cinemas from September 15th and available on Red Bull TV from October 2nd.
Yes. Please enjoy. Thanks for joining us today.